Are you ready to party? Let's go.
Preston Durnford, right?
Pretty close.
Oh, shit.
Is there a D in there?
Yeah, there's an R in there.
Durnford.
Darnford.
I said it like
Durnford.
3 times before we started. Preston Durnford?
Durnford.
Durnford. Okay, I'm sorry, Preston.
Dude, you were so close, though.
God, that's how we're going to start this podcast off, dude. Preston, thanks for coming out, man. How was your drive out, dude?
Good. Took the PCH and, it was beautiful.
Dude, you took the scenic route over here.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I was far away, so I just
That's
took my
what I'm
time.
talking about, boy.
Good tunes, windows down.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, dude, we're stoked to have you here on the podcast, man. Dude, let's start this off. How did we meet?
You were telling it pretty good right now. I think we met on the packing mat. You met little Jake. He works for me.
Really cool dude.
Yeah,
he's engaged now too.
He's about to get married.
Wow.
20 years old. He's a little rock star.
Dude, it's awesome.
But yeah, he's like, yeah, man. He's like, Tim over there is an awesome dude. We gotta meet him. And so I love awesome people. And
Oh, hey, thanks, Jake. Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, that was at Lake Elsinore, their drop zone. So everybody knows you're a skydiver.
yeah,
So we were skydiving. Well, we didn't jump out together, but
we never jumped together.
No, we are going to soon.
We
though.
will.
We're gonna make this happen,
Yeah.
dude. But yeah, we met you, man. I remember talking with you and Jake, and it was cool because that was my first time at Lake Elsinore. I'd always been jumping at Oceanside and Paris, and a lot of my friends, everyone a lot of people are starting to go to Lake Elsinore.
It's a good vibe over there.
It is a great vibe.
It is.
Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
blast, dude. So I was a little nervous. I was actually intimidated when I saw you. I was like, because I have tattoos too, but I saw your tattoos and all this, and like, dude, I was like, oh man, like this guy seems like he's kind of nice and cool. And then Jake was like, oh yeah, it's my buddy Preston. I'm thinking, well, I don't know anybody. I'm just gonna say hi, and that's it, man.
Yeah, I mean, out there skydiving, I mean, we're all kind of, it's a very safe thing.
Yeah,
It's safe. It can be used in a very, very spiritual way and translates over to many other aspects of life, right? I mean, I think everyone that's out there is doing it for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of beautiful people out there doing that, know? And so, there's something amazing, especially at Elsinore, I mean, I was talking to...
It's Jordan.
Jordan. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Jordan.
you're good, dude.
It's okay,
Remember
Durnford.
that. Darnford.
I'll remember that, Durnford.
Come on now, brother.
Everybody gets one.
That's all right.
I won't do that again.
I'm just kidding, dude.
Hey, all the names. We're gonna get it.
right.
We're gonna get it. Yeah, Carl, who owns the joint out there. I mean, it all trickles down from him. It's just an amazing the way that he set up. And it's just it's the culture, and I think when I was walking in, we were talking about like, I've been doing it about 4.5 years now. And it's, when you just said like, yeah, we're going to jump together, they got me excited,
Yeah.
New people. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty conservative, like I've done like big wave stuff, like somewhat big wave, like 20 people, but it's not like big wave, like a lot of people. But there's peaks and valleys with it. There's sometimes I'm really excited to do it, and then I meet new people, new friends, and then we learn new disciplines with it. We start progressing together, and so when you said that, I got a good boost of energy from it.
Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. There's times I'll be jumping, do my thing, go on the weekends or during the week, and then I won't go for like a month or two. I'm like,
I get scared though.
You still get scared?
Yeah, when I'm like, if I go a month,
Oh, well, yeah, you got to go through your emergency protocols.
yeah, I get scared.
Yeah. Oh,
dude.
yeah. No, I hear you, dude.
Yeah.
How long you been skydiving, though?
4.5 years, something like that.
How many jumps you got in, though?
A little over 400.
Wow.
So not a crazy amount. Like you're still just getting your feet underneath you at 400, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm at like 258, and someone's trying to talk me into swoop, and I'm like, bro, I ain't swooping anytime soon right now.
See, that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite.
yeah.
Like when I'm under canopy and it's like inflated, that's like I'm like, okay, let's go time.
That's the relief.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I've never skydived before. So, like, obviously my perspective on this is there's two people sitting at this table that I think are kind of crazy. In a good way.
We love life, bro.
Because of all the things that you mentioned earlier, right? Whatever that that spiritual seek or adrenaline or whatever, right? It's like, it's kind of cool because there's been a couple people that have come on that have done it or do it often. And everyone kind of has a similar like way of explaining why they like it, right? Whether it's the community, because it's like, yeah, dude, you're like-minded. Obviously, everyone wants to jump out of a plane.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, that was my only dig.
No,
I think it's really cool,
Yeah.
man. I'm just a big wuss when
It's
it
not
comes to
that.
that.
It's not.
But I would imagine when you said when like you go through everything, right? You know, get it all set up. Okay, it's been a little while. You're probably doing your safety checks like Tim was talking about. And then it's like you jump and there's got to be that feeling of, man, I sure hope that I got everything right today, you know? And because once the canopy does open, I have to imagine that's your big release, right? That's you're like, oh,
Well,
God,
no,
it worked.
that's not the thing.
It's not? Okay.
No, well, it's like you have to land it. That's where a lot of people get hurt.
Very,
That's the worst part of it is you have to land that thing. You know,
Okay.
so when you said like, I hope I get everything's okay. Well, I have a tattoo on me. It says, check your chest strap.
I like it.
Yeah, I almost jumped out. So it's like a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's called Chicks Rock. They actually just had another one out there. It was like a big party, people from all over the place, and they threw like a big skydive party type of deal.
nice.
And you know, I was doing like a 5-way. You know, 5 people are jumping. I'm setting in, ready, set, go. And so when I went to jump out, some guy in the corner pulled me in. He's like, "Hey, your fucking chest strap." I'm like, "What?" And my chest strap's just sitting there. Oof. And I was on my way out of the plane.
Oh.
And so he pulled me in there, but I was on my way out, and he pulled me in.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, you know, I obviously fixed it. Me being like a people pleaser, everyone in the front, all the wingsuiters, like that are out like last, they're all hot in the back, right? Because they're all wrapped up in their little sleeping bags. Come on, man. I was like, okay, sorry, sir. Hold on. You know, and this didn't even really know that it was really connected, but you know, that guy saved my life.
I was going to say, I was like, I got your beers, buddy.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I was like, what do you want, dude? Like, you know? What do you want, dude?
I mean, that's really going the extra mile.
Hey,
but,
you know, I
it
get to
saved
hang
your
out and do
life.
the
I get
podcast.
Touche, dude.
Dude. What got you into skydiving?
Well, you know, I went with a whole bunch of friends, and we were all. I got invited. It was like 7 people that wanted to go and do a bunch of tandems, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go. And so we were all super excited, and we did it, and they never did it again, and I kept going back, you know, and I
Love it.
tandem after tandem after tandem, and I was like 7 of them, and they're like, hey, you know, you can get licensed here. I was like, what? You can get licensed skydiving like here? Like, how do you, you know, I didn't know anyone that did it.
Right.
And obviously I was just chasing energy, you know, still figuring myself out. That was years ago. And, you know, it elevated me in different aspects. So, you know, I was just like, yeah, this is amazing. Because I grew up doing with motocross and racing this, that. And so it kind of, it just kind of felt, because the moment I did that, it was like, I felt I can do anything, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like, I was fearless. And, you know, it currently still translates over to a lot of other things. But, and then I got, you know, went to go get licensed, and that's where I met Emma, my fiance.
No way.
Yeah, man, that's where I met her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she came. She's a little crazy one. When I saw her, I heard this like little ball of energy. Like we were still getting our like jump number 3, and I hear like, "Oh my God, I almost hit the van." You know, the white van that picks us up.
Yeah.
Well, she almost hit it, and so she came by. She had her little blue jumpsuit. She's really, you know, cute little blonde, and she goes by. And I was like, "Dang, she's really cute," you know. And so I met her there, and then yeah, I mean, a couple years.
No, you guys.
A few years later, yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
How many jumps does she have?
Like 450.
Okay, she's up there.
Yeah, she's had a pull a reserve already 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Like that's crazy.
What size canopy is she under?
I don't know. Oh, 150 actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about pulling a reserve, what does that mean for people not familiar with that?
So when you pull your main parachute, something's messed up with it. You can't fly it. You know, you're like, you know, hesitant, like, should I get rid of this? And so if that is not functional, you just pull your reserve, you disconnect from that, and your reserve pops out.
Is it a pretty quick process?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like if like you're, let's say, tied up or shit's hitting the fan, if you will, right? To get that transfer from the main canopy to your reserve is relatively quick.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. So I feel like a lot of times,
Positive.
I feel like a lot of times what ends up happening when someone, you know, like the topic is skydiving, something I know very little about, and to me it just sounds terrifying, you know. So it's like I try to pull little things from here and there because I'm like slowly trying to talk myself into one of these days I want to do it.
Yeah.
and was it Shad
Yes.
came on?
Yeah, I took him
and
skydiving.
You took him skydiving, and he was talking a ton of shit to me about not being a wuss in a positive, fun way. Like he wasn't being mean at all. But like, you know what I mean? I kept thinking, I'm like, you're right. And it sounds, it sounds badass.
Yeah.
You know, like super fun.
If you
and
look at
whatever.
like statistics, like so last year it was like one person passed in 3.8 million.
Damn, that's it?
One in,
Yeah,
oh,
That's
under a tandem.
I thought honestly at least be 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now I'm all nervous. I'm like, is that correct?
I know.
no, but someone like qualified told me that. So
yeah.
I'd say we just roll with that number.
Yeah, let's roll with that one
Fantastic.
because I want you to go.
Yeah. I was like, I'll just tell my wife, be like, listen, honey, 1 and
Preston said.
3.8. Preston said, we're good.
Well, it took Sam for his birthday.
Mm.
We went skydiving. We still have a picture. You had that big old beard, dude.
Oh yeah, man. I was sucking a lot of air when I jumped out of that thing. Oh my god.
Well, how much do you weigh? You're jacked. Because you have to like meet.
Always, yeah.
You have to have 200. It's like 200 or 500 pounds total to do a tandem.
Right.
How much do you weigh?
I'm about 215, 220.
Okay.
Right.
I think they put you with a smaller person though, didn't
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
they? Yeah, they put you with a smaller person. That was a good time, though. I've never seen your eyes so big, dude.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Because I went out first. I was like, "See you, dude. Happy birthday!"
Yeah. When I saw you just jump out and just backflip off there, I was like, "What is he doing? Why? Why are we here right now?" Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've done the same thing.
Oh, dude, it was a good time,
Yeah.
man. No, that's freaking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have an organization. You're actually wearing the hat right now called Epic Journey.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you start that?
Well, I'll go back a little bit. Kind of, it's my back to where my brother. I think that you may know what happened. So, my brother and I owned a subacute detox. So we get people off any type of substances, alcohol, opiates, anything like that medically.
Wow.
And so my brother and I started that about 6 years ago. And my brother ended up relapsing. He started messing with pills. And there's this new synthetic opiate, as you guys may know, fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like fake stamped pills. And so my brother, him and I grew up shooting heroin together.
Wow.
I was shooting heroin for like 8 years, and so then we got our lives together. Life became beautiful. And then we had the opportunity to help more and more people.
Yeah.
So we had that for a long time, but my brother passed a couple years ago.
Damn, bro.
Before that, my dad committed suicide, man.
Wow.
And then my mom's she's still around, but
So all that between your dad and your brother happened within a couple years of each other?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. How'd you handle that, man?
Skydiving? No, I mean, it's just, like.
Because that's a lot.
It is.
I've said it here before, but I've had a brother pass away. He was in a car accident, and that was in 2004. I think it's a long time ago, but it's one of those things I tell people: you don't ever get over it. You just learn to live with it.
Yeah.
There isn't a day that doesn't go by I don't think about my
No.
brother Luke. I think about him all the time, And you're talking. He was 18 years old. I was 17, right? All of my years of growing up before I was an adult was sharing a room with my brother, and then boom, in an instant, he's gone. And it's like there's no coming back from that. And that's a very hard reality that smacks you in the face real quick.
Yeah.
It's tough. 1 minute you're there joking, talking, and then that's it. Now we had to go claim his body in San Bernardino, get him back down here to the to where we're gonna have him buried. All that, you go through this whole process, and you're kind of like shell shocked.
Yeah,
it's weird. You're like fuck, you're just going through these motions, dude, and it's one of those things, man. You can't describe it to somebody until they've been through it.
Yeah.
Then there's like that understanding. You're like, you just know, that feeling, that pain. It was such a deep internal pain. I remember just feeling like my stomach was in knots, dude. It just hurt. I remember clearly it was after his service, and we went to the graveside and we lowered him in. And I remember driving home, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks, dude. I was just disgustingly sick. I couldn't believe it. I'm only 17.
Yeah.
I'm senior year in high school, still kind of a kid, so that's hard. It's tough, man. And there's a lot of people that are going through that have lost a loved one, whether it be tragic or parent. I don't care if it's a parent or not, dude. When you lose someone in your family that you love, it's hard. It's difficult, It's why I always try to ask people like, man, like how'd you pull yourself together to get through that,
Yeah. You can use it in a couple different ways. a lot of people with, having my background of like using heroin, you would think something tragic would come about and you would fall back to that. That's a lot of people, they stub their toe, they use it for a reason to go back to it, right? I mean, anything positive, this or that. And, I completely retrained myself, my way of thinking, and so it was no longer, it was just no longer a thought. I kind of explained like, hey, like the chance of me ever doing that again would be like going to Jupiter. I ain't fucking going, So I used it for good. I used it in a positive way, and so I get to help people like my dad and my brother, and I was fortunate to have the company that I was able to get people to feel good, like get them off the substances, but then that was just the one part. You have I wanted to show people. I was so fortunate to live such an amazing life. I still am.
Yeah.
And it was only so much fun for me. Like I go, jumping out of stuff or dirt bike, this and that. If I do it by my, it's only fun when I get to bring like 100 people. Or not even that. That's amazing, right? But it feels really good when I can impact a lot of people, and I'm not doing it enough. And it was just like, I get to help people like my pops, like my brother. And so going back to this, epic journey is that, it really rocket propelled my life right now. And I'll kind of explain on that. It's pretty crazy. So my brother passed, and I ended up, the other partners in the business weren't very kind. So so my brother passed and they fired me.
What?
Are you freaking kidding me?
I lost
you guys started this together, you and your brother.
Yeah.
And he passes and they snatch it from you.
Yeah. They made some
Oh, Preston.
So I lost everything, man. I was doing well. I had my purpose. It's something my brother and I built, and so the other partner that came in, they let me go. And I still had equity in it, but the way they were running it, I lost everything. They didn't run it like we were, they didn't know what the hell they're doing. So anyways, I lost everything. Boom, pops, brother, business. I'm like, God damn it, man, what the hell?
Yeah.
So I went out, and I love running. I love endurance. And so I can push my mind to places with endurance that
I love it.
nothing else can. There's nothing else I can push my mind to where it wants to quit and keep going besides a sauna. Sauna's pretty legit with that, but but like endurance, I loved it, man. I got high on it. I can just go.
It's hard to explain, right?
If I had a superpower, it'd be suffering. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
I'll suffer, man.
Well, it's
I'm good.
Endure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's my superpower.
doing
That is
those
a power,
things,
dude.
doing like so. Because I think I told you, right? I did the ultra marathons, doing triathlons, all that. And it's really hard to explain to people. It's like, well, why do you do it? I'm like, there's something in that suffering and pushing yourself past what you think your limit is.
Oh yeah.
I never thought I could run 50 miles. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, if I can do 50, I can do 62. Then I end up doing 62 miler. I was signed up
That's
for 100.
legit.
Yeah, I signed up for 100, but then I hurt my knee and I couldn't do it. And then, all this other stuff went
That's
down.
sick. That's legit.
Bro, it was...
that's amazing. That's really freaking.
Yeah, it was... I tell people it was just a death march. Because most of these ultra marathons are typically trail runs.
Yeah.
So I get Catalina, 50 miler, Big Bear, and some other ones up north. But this one was here in Orange County. It was on the riverbed, and it was out and back.
Oh yeah.
It was
flat though.
flat. But dude, the flat and the monotony of it and no one being around like on the riverbed, it was it was the most mental challenge I've ever had.
Yeah.
That was the one race at least over 10 times I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't want to do this. Like, what am I
Yeah.
doing?
Well, the thing is that people always ask, are you running from something or are you running towards something when you're doing that stuff? Like, were you running towards something or are you running away from something?
That's a good question.
And it's like, what were you doing with it? And so, so with having that endurance and using that as a tool, it kind of made me stronger. And so I'm sitting there in Huntington Beach down at a place called Longboarders. It's a little breakfast spot down there on Main Street. It's a cool spot, right?
Right next to Noka Oil.
It's good, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Eating there a lot.
Yeah. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, God damn, what do I do? And I'm a pretty intuitive person, pretty spiritual person.
Yeah.
So I would always ask and journal and write on my runs. And I'm like, well, hey, just show me, I'll do whatever, I will, and so this lady comes walking by with a receipt pad and a pen, and she goes walking by. I was like, hey, can I grab that? She's like, what? Can I have that pen and receipt, please? She's like, okay. And so like, I
love it.
For something was this saying, write this down. And so I'm
Yeah.
like loud. Normally my intuition is very subtle. It's like, psst, hey.
Yeah.
This one's like, hey. So so I listened. So I wrote this stick figures down. It was like a military plane. I have all like these off-road toys, like the Polaris Razors, and then it was like a big meditation. I started writing all these ideas down. First, I'm gonna take people jumping out of the military plane. Then we're gonna take the buddies go off-roading, and then we're going to do a big guided meditation because, you know, like yoga and spirituality is like a big part to get this craziness to slow down sometimes, which is hard.
Absolutely.
So I put that together. You know, I talked to Carl that owns Skydive Elsinore, and I was like, hey, I walked by one of the military planes. A lot of tandems don't really get to use those. So I walked by, I'm like, well, just ask. I'm like, hey, can I use that plane? He's like, yeah, for sure. And so,
No way.
yeah.
Carl was just like, yes.
Yeah.
No, he's a younger guy too.
No,
right?
Carl's 60.
Oh, I think
Old
I'm
fella
thinking
that's
of
cruising
somebody
around.
else. Yeah, someone said like that's the owner. They were probably wrong.
Yeah. And so, yeah, he's like, yeah, sure. And I was like, okay, cool. So I threw on, you know, I did some posts, you know, and no one follows me, you know, like freaking 10 people, but I got 100 people to go. My first one,
But no kidding.
word of mouth.
Dude, awesome.
Yeah. So I got 100 people to do some tandems, and then we took the buggies out. I brought a hot air balloon out in the middle of Akatio Wells. We
Sick.
did hot air balloons up and down at night.
So rad.
Brought tents and catered, and Lucci. Wait, no. So Lucci's she teaches. She's a skydive instructor out there. Like
Okay.
a really little ninja.
Okay.
But she's a little yogi. So I had her do a big guided meditation. We have all these people, hot air balloon, you know, sitting up there in the morning, and
And this would be people like struggling.
Yeah,
with
mental health and,
mental
like,
health issues,
and
addiction
substance.
substance abuse, stuff like that. Dude, that is.
it was
that
the
is
balance.
So rad.
It was the balance,
Yeah.
like adrenaline, go, and then like people learning to sit. It was like the balance. That's kind of what I wanted to put with the company.
It's basically experiencing both ends of the spectrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, imagine jumping out of a plane's got to be the apex, and then being able to center yourself after that, and then being around people that not everyone's journey is exactly the same, but some of the struggles are similar.
Yeah,
You know, so
for
you
sure.
find that common ground. Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That is so neat because I mean, I feel like it's a fair statement that there needs to be more things
Yeah.
like that, more outlets like that, you know? So it's like, you know, at least going back to like substance abuse, things like that, be like, oh, you go to the 12-step program, you do this. And it's like, dude, not everybody's thing is just going to be sitting in a circle and saying what your
Yeah.
problems are.
Yeah.
There might, and that works for some people.
Mhm.
But there needs to be more outlets like that, and what a cooler,
Yeah.
not to mention a cooler outlet as far as if you have that kind of search for the adrenaline side of it, right? You know, for whatever you know it was bothering you, things like that, so you can get to experience that kind of stuff. And then you know, with the guided meditation thing, I think that's really huge.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, it sounds like you said you had 10 followers and 100 people, just word of mouth people, which is fantastic. You know, hopefully
Yeah.
it keeps multiplying and growing and
Well-
not losing sight of that.
Yeah, well, where it went, you know, it's you know, that's one aspect. You say like, you know, 12 steps and all that stuff. It's good to a point. You know, you get to figure yourself out. You go through it, you know, and that 12 steps falls in line with all the other, you know, Buddha and this and that. You know,
Right,
it's
right.
just another branch of. It's very similar to all the other things. And so, I only got to get them for a couple days. It was an overnight thing.
Okay.
You know, so you know, for me being in the industry of like treatment and healthcare and stuff like that, and kind of be known, you know, within that realm, I only had them for 2 days. You know, and I want to be able to teach them. I want to bring on doctors and neurologists and therapists and people that are qualified, you know, and create a culture. There's like an energy you can create within like the energy in the room right now.
Yeah.
Like there's a good energy. You can create a culture. You can create it when someone walks in the room and you hit the wall like, damn, man, freaking Tim, it feels good, man. It's good in here, you know? And so if I can create a treatment program and I can incorporate an amazing culture within it and not have them for 2 days, I can have them for 30, 60, 90 days
Yeah.
and imply the stuff within it, then I could. And also a lot of people will call me, you know, they turn 27. I don't have insurance, man. Like Preston, like help me get a scholarship or something.
Yeah.
And eventually I can't, you know? And so that's why like the fundraiser, I did that.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
9/11, right?
Yeah, we raised like $120,000.
Dude.
I was
Are you
able-
kidding me?
Yeah, our first one.
Yo, dude. Preston.
Bellworthy.
Yeah.
Give it up, son.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about, baby. I know. I remember putting out to a bunch of firefighters, but everyone, they had already had plans because it was the 20th year anniversary for 9/11, which is a big deal amongst the fire community.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was like, dang it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing is like, people, it sucks because a lot of people don't have the insurance or the funds to go to a quality place.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I know some rad guys. This wasn't the one that I was sent you. This was like a golf tournament fundraiser.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Where we like, Red Bull guys were coming flying in the golf course, and we had all the moto dudes.
Sick.
So I was like, well, I'm around some really badass people.
Yeah.
Let me utilize them to raise funds to do something good. And then that sparked me starting up my own treatment programs. Like, yeah, so now it's called SoCal Mental Health.
Yeah.
About to launch that. And so what happened is, all right, I did good. I was having, event after event after event. And I'm like, oh, God, man. Like, I wasn't really paying bills. I was just scraping by or losing my ass. But everyone go home excited. And then Preston go home and cry. Fuck, man, I can't pay my fucking bills.
You're
dude.
giving
My
so
Harley's
much.
getting taken away, repoed. I'm like, everyone's stoked. And I'm like, all right, this is something has to work here. So I put a pitch deck together. With a spreadsheet and numbers, and I created this thing, and I had people from Red Bull, I had people from Fisker, the electric car, and I had an architect. All were interested in this, and I was like, oh my God, And meanwhile, I have a 6th grade education, and I'm like, I'm not highly qualified, but I got passion, and I got a little smarter since then, So, I brought it over to my fiance's her father-in-law. And I went, I had a big meeting the next day. I was like, hey, can you check this out? Blew the spreadsheet up the size of this table. Hey, what do you think of this? Does this look good? Oh. And he's like, well, Preston, what if I come in? And I was like, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
So I always wanted one.
Yeah.
And then today, we just got our 3rd house. So I'm going to be starting 3 of them. So something. Yeah,
ring
dude.
that bell, baby.
Something's going. It's
Right.
It's amazing. I just got on my own way. I don't know what the hell's going on, but it's.
Yeah, but don't I know you kind of said okay, you have a 6th grade education. You snuck that one in there. You can't ever sell anyone short that has vision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just by hearing, it's like, okay, hey, look, it started as 2 days. Yeah. If anyone who has serious mental health issues or addiction problems or these things, I think it's fair to say that 2 days isn't going to fix it completely. But what it can do, at least temporarily, right? It can at least get the feeling that maybe how I'm living isn't how it's always going to be.
Yeah.
Right? It's a trajectory change, because if you're dealing with people that are hitting those lows, right, or have hit the lows and they don't know how to get out there and they're struggling and all that stuff, and you open up this opportunity of let's face it, dude, it's cool, right? Mm-hmm. Jumping out of planes, doing the meditation, if it's at night or whatever, doing hot air balloon rides, things like that. It's just offering these different aspects of life for a lot of people that have never maybe experienced that before. Yeah. And maybe... even if it is short term, because dude, let's face it. If you had 90 days, right? You had a full hospital staff. You have all these other things, which hopefully that's what it gets to. But in the meantime, as it's building and building and building, dude, little bit of impact in life, I think changes people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Maybe that one connection, a 5-minute conversation that you or I'd have, be like, you know what? You said something that really stuck with me. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's just more and more. And and it's a good point that you bring up as far as insurance coverage, things like that, because look, at the end of the day, it does take money to make sure these, to get these things rolling, to be able to provide these kind of services to people. Mm. But hopefully, it gets so big that you can offer these kind of scholarships, these kind of, treatment plans that are going to be more affordable for however that works out. But I mean, dude, that's really cool that you're doing that. And, I just feel like there needs to be more. Because look, just to the layperson, right? If you're talking about that, what does the average person think? They see Passages Malibu on TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you hear anecdotal stories about people that go into rehab that don't really treat it really, for anything, because they're talking about some glamorous one where they, partied hard one weekend and then they come back.
Yeah.
It's no, there's a lot of people that seriously suffer. You know what I mean? That were willing to do these things that doesn't put them in a good position, not just for longevity in your own life, but just society and how you're going to be able to handle it. And I'm just talking about drugs. I'm not talking about the mental health, which is a whole other window.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because those two don't normally have to associate. It could be anything.
Well, substance abuse and mental health and trauma, they run parallel. They do, because you're masking it with whatever, and it doesn't have to be freaking drugs. It could be food.
100%,
freaking binge eating. You're like, freaking, and so they run pretty parallel, but predominantly you want to focus on the trauma aspect of it, and so it's again, I mean, it's just it's amazing. It's amazing where life can go, but I feel like people just don't know how to make that happen. And also, there's a specific way which I've seen people get excited about. There's a specific, if I can go and show them life, I can go plant a seed within them, and moment, then I can actually build a curriculum around that, and at the end of their stay, send them out of a plane, or not even that. That doesn't even have to be, but pushing them past little fears, hey, go and jump in the ocean. It's winter, it's cold, man. But when you're out, you're pumped, and being vulnerable. All these little fears, just you get in the habit of getting uncomfortable and what's on the other side of it. You know what I mean? And eventually the point where they are running 62 miles. They are going and doing amazing things, and they are inspiring other people. But sometimes there's not, yes, the correct people aren't inspiring, the correct people. I would want to be the person, like, someone like myself. If I met someone when I was first getting my life together and someone got their paws on, like when I see like little Jake.
Yeah, dude.
He's 20 years old, and I saw him, his father actually passed away from, he's drinking and driving and got in an accident, something like that. But, there's it's crazy because he had this video game addiction, right? And I can see amazing people, and that have potential. And so Jake was just playing video games all the time. Well, that fundraiser that I did, I said, Jake, hey, I swooped him up, hired him on. Hey, stop working at Best Buy, man. You're a little rad dude. Hired him on. First thing I have him do is put on an event with all these like Black Rifle coffee and freaking Red Bull and all this huge freaking thing.
That's awesome.
Dude, we had like 180 people out there, and he's 20 years old, and I saw the potential, and I'm like, here, hey, do this. Like I had the connections, right?
Yeah.
But here, put this together. 20-year-old kid that was a little video gamer put this amazing thing on, and now what he's doing for me right now, like we're about to hire on 75 people, right? Like we're in the process of doing that.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
And this little guy, 20 years old, that was just playing games, that was working at Best Buy, I was like, no, dude, you got something. And it's not just him though. It's everyone. Everyone has potential. We're sitting here and talking about ordinary people that just don't have the limelight on them. There's amazing people out there that no one sees, and they don't really want to be seen. I know some very amazing people that donate and do amazing things, but they don't want to be seen. They don't want to be known for it.
Right.
There's some incredible people that need to be seen. There's incredible people that, and I think it's within everyone. People are so amazing.
Sometimes that's the catalyst.
Yeah.
Right. That will change that trajectory or increase it or whatever, because it's very easy, I think, in life to go down that route, or just thinking that you're only good enough, for whatever it is you're doing. So in this case, this kid, Jake, 20, gamer, working at Best Buy, probably just doing his thing, not really thinking about the future, whatever. And not necessarily that that's bad, but sometimes it does take someone else to see that potential, and that's right. I mean, these are all like cool, like, stories, like to how they build up, because you never know unless you try. And I feel like that's like a theme that we talk about a lot on this podcast, is that there are so many stories that start this way. I mean, everyone's got a little bit different, right? But there was a point at which, like, you were sitting at Longboarders and you came up with a great idea, and instead of just going like, oh, that's a good idea, and then let it go, you went, you know what? No, hey, lady, Come here, let me see that piece of paper. I'm writing this down. Boom. All of a sudden, everything starts formulating. People that you see, like, yeah, okay, this guy's good at this, or I could see this person being good at this. Hey, I'm going to give you a shot, dude. What do you think? You know, I mean, like, that's whatever that is, to bottle that up and give that to everybody. Because you don't, you know, it's like, I think that's what everyone's kind of victim of what they think that they're capable of. And like that is like the worst thing possible, in my opinion. Not the worst thing, but it's definitely, it holds you back. It's these restrictor plates of life that you put yourself in thinking, oh, I'm never going to do anything or never do anything. Dude, get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, because you never know. You could be the next freaking Jeff Bezos, you know, or Elon Musk, or fill in whoever's super successful, or, you know, I guess rich. I can't say successful because that's subjective.
Yeah.
You know?
You'd be miserable as hell with all that.
Yeah. I know plenty of people like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like me personally, if I had that kind of cash flow, I'd figure out a way to be super pumped. You know, just life. I mean, believe me, we'd all be going and jumping out of planes right now. Whatever plane you want.
Heading out to the moon.
Yeah, let's go to the moon. No joke, dude. No joke. It sounds like you find fulfillment in serving others and seeing people seek out their dreams and overcome things. Am I wrong?
No, yeah, I love that.
Because I kind of feel that for me, I always feel the most fulfillment in service and helping people.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what also maybe, you know, for Jordan too, but I think that's why we were drawn to be in the careers that we're in as firefighters. You know, yeah, it's great that we get to, you know, it's dangerous, it's risky, it's fun. We get to hang out with our brothers and sisters in the firehouse, but most of all, we're having an impact, a direct impact on lives.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you're seeing people get a second chance and changing their lives and, you know, saving their homes, their belongings, all that stuff. And you know, it seems like do you find fulfillment in that? Am I wrong?
No, not at all.
It seems like you really dig that, you know, I mean, to the point where you started losing stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember this quote, but it always said, it's like, kind of paraphrasing, but it's like a true life with meaning is a life in service to others.
Mm-hmm.
And I started noticing that within the past, I would say 3 years. 3 years, and especially with doing this podcast, it's having people like you on. I mean, from overcoming heroin to the deaths that you had in your family to losing a business, and you're sitting there and you ask somebody, hey, let me see that piece of paper, and you had the wherewithal to be like, I need to write this down. Like, I have to. And you wrote it down, and look where you're at now. You know, I have so much respect for that. I really do. It takes courage. It takes persistence. It takes calculated risk, because you overcame a lot. And I've only had one family member pass away. I can't imagine the multiple, and then losing a bit, all that stuff. That can be overwhelming. Absolutely overwhelming, man. I mean, what was your, like, what was kind of what got you through that time? Is it just yourself, or were you relying on people? I mean, it seems like you're a fighter too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm kind of a lone wolf in a way.
Okay.
You know, that's like with you say endurance. It's majority of the time it's with us.
Yeah.
It's us battling us, and so I'm kind of self-motivated. We're very self-motivated, and you know, it's not only that. You know, our time here is so short, man. You know, we lose all these people and you know, friends, like also my parachute that I jumped, you know, that was one of my best friends that passed away jumping, you know, and I bought it from his family. And so every time I jump out, I'm wearing the one that he passed away in, right?
Wow.
And I'm so close to it. You know, I've had 44 people pass in the last 4 years, you know, yeah.
Jeez.
All overdoses and other causes. Something like that, where I was like, 44 is like what we had when we had like a certain program and we knew what clients passed away from. You know, I'm not like keeping an actual count, but it was there. And so it's been more than that. Our time here is so short, you know what I mean? And to not go for it all and to not, it feels good to be kind, man. You know, it feels good to love.
Yes.
It does. Like having the bear being the tough, you know, I like being the freaking macho dude and having this wall up, like, dude, like, stop.
Like, who are you trying to impress, right?
Why?
Yeah.
You know, and I've done that, you know?
Yeah.
Back in the day, I used to, like, do the steroids, man. I'd be all jacked, and it's cool. It worked, you know? Like, it felt good, you know, it felt good from it. It got me to a certain point. And I was doing it because I wanted people to be. I was emulating someone else that I knew, though. It was my brother. You know, that's what happened with him. Like my brother was all jacked and had the girls and tats, and but he had this. He was the guy. He was gnarly. You didn't want to mess with him. He had the crazy eye. You're like, shit. I don't want to mess with that dude. Yeah. And so I emulated him. I looked up to him, and so what started happening is I started outgrowing him. The one that when I was using. What got me out of it was that I saw my brother. He's out in Havasu. That's originally where we're from. It was like Havasu. And so, he got his life together a couple of years before me, and he'd always call me, AP, you done? I was like, no, man, I'm still out here getting after it. And he's like, okay, well, when you're ready. Yeah. So, and I saw this one picture. He's wake surfing, and, he looked all jacked, and he had all the girls, and he was happy. He had a job. He had money. Yeah. And so I saw that, and that was really attractive to me. I was like, boom, hey, I'm done. I can't get $20 now. The things I'm doing to get my stuff is pretty intense. And then, I idolized him, and so I got to the point to where like I would be next. I'm like, no, man, like I don't want to be this tough exterior or this like. Dude, I'm not. I just didn't feel good, and then I started to outgrow him, and my big brothers don't like that, Yeah. Hey, P, you want to hang out? No, I don't, man. Like. Yeah. Look who you're hanging out with, bro. Mm-hmm. Like people, they look like they had it together. Behind the scenes, they're spiritually broken, man. And so, so I started outgrowing him, and that's, I did this, and, I'm still trying to do that, I have my moments, but, I was thinking on the way over here, too. I was like, what, like when I go and I talk to anyone or any other little speeches that I've done before, this or that, like, I want to come from a place of love. I want to be kind. I want you to remember, like, hey, Preston was a good, that guy, he was kind. No exterior, no walls up, like, and the moment I started doing that and not being reactive to people or my feelings got hurt or things just started falling off the wayside, I just, I'm like, it was just like freeing, Yeah. And then when I can genuinely, like someone that screwed me over with like the business or all the other things that I've had, and I'll genuinely send love to them, like, hey, you know what? Like, I would hug you. Like Nelson Mandela, like he took, who that is, Yeah. And so he took his executioner out to dinner after all those years in prison. Nope. And so, come to find, recently, I was doing a presentation with a doctor and another therapist that we just hired on. And I did it down in La Quinta. I had a private dinner, and I did my speech, and I'm sitting up there with a doctor and a highly qualified people, and I'm like, what the hell's going on over here? This is crazy. But it was a conference. It was all the top facilities in, like, California, amongst other states, where had their booths up and this and that. And, well, I see the people that fired me, and yeah, dude.
You know what? That's a test of character real quick. Yeah. Real quick.
And so my soon-to-be father-in-law was like, I was like, hey, man, like, they're both here. And so he's like, well, let's go meet them. I was like, all right. So I was like, okay. And so I see him over there, and they kind of saw me a little bit, and I went around, and I was like, hey, I gave him a big hug, but it was genuine, like before.
You weren't fake.
No, it was like, it felt good. It wasn't like, hey, no, fuck you. No, it was like, you know what, like what you did was bad, and I hope you figure it out, because now that I'm actually doing so much better, and almost grateful for those losses, like, hey, thank you for screwing me over. Yeah. Thank you for that, because if you didn't do that, now I'm able to help more people. I'm able to be my own person. I'm able to grow and
hit that bell, dude. Boy, that is.
But it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Love and forgiveness goes so far.
It does, man.
And I've had other instances in my life where I've been screwed over by people and things fail, and I've run into those people, and it's a test to your character. It's very difficult, but I know when I have failed and I have let people down, what has changed me was love and forgiveness. Yeah. And I really do think it's a true test of someone's character, man. To be able to go up to those two people that you saw and just be like, hey, man, I hope you're doing good, dude. Yeah. I mean, what can they say?
The reaction, though, they're like,
yeah, it's like, I'm sure they're probably thinking like, oh, this guy's going to give us an earful, he's going to ignore us, and you just like, hey, what's up, guys?
And that was the first time I talked to him.
Wow. How many years have gone by?
Since 2 years ago.
Wow. That's some time.
Well, one of them was my brother's wife. Yeah, dude. So like, and so it was her and then another one, but yeah. it was her. And so she fired me over Zoom.
Over Zoom.
Over Zoom with the attorneys.
Oh.
Yeah. So, it was the first time I've seen her. And so, and I was my brother, like I was Dustin's little bro, I was like, that's
there's a deep connection there.
Yeah. And so when she did, I was like, God damn it. Can I trust anyone?
Yeah. So that was an ultimate test of character on your part. But
like what would if that shows growth, and especially with my new partner, he's my new partner. And so he's 7 years old. He's a very established guy. And so when he's like, hey, let's check you out. You're new in business with me to see how you handle this situation.
Right. It's really a test kind of, and there's multiple things going on right now.
Yeah, you would.
Like, how am I going to handle this? And this guy's judging me a little bit right now. Sure.
Oh yeah. So I was like, let's do it.
But that's, I like how you put the, having the hard exterior, right? And or macho complex or whatever you want to say. And it's not saying that you're not like a tough person.
Yeah.
But it's just being able to understand, what do you want to deal with in your own life? How much effort do you want to put into it? Because I think whoever lives their life that way, and I felt very much like this when I was younger. It takes effort to create that exterior, that image, that stuff. And if that's not who you are, you inevitably will find that out at some point in your life. And when you can figure out that, like, you just don't care, because I would rather, and I think that's great, because I feel very similar in that way, is that I would rather just be nice to people. You know what I mean? I'd rather my impact being on them be like, hey, I like that guy. He was cool. Not that I need to be cool to everybody, but just like, he seems like a genuine person. You know what I mean? And I think that's like, those are like the growing part of your life. Obviously people grow up early, people grow up later, but when they're using the term grow up, I think that's really what it is, right? You're identifying certain things that you're like, you know what, it's just not worth it. We are here for a short period of time, so why not make the best of it and put yourself in the best position for it? Because I was like, karma's a bitch. I'm a firm believer in that.
I'm with you.
And
I'm with you on that.
Look, what does it matter at that point, right? Not that it wasn't hard. Not that it wasn't, and in this case, I'd be like, my teeth would be just shattering because I'd be grinding them so hard. I'd be like, I really want to say a lot of mean shit right now, but I'm not, because things are going good.
You're going great.
But even if things weren't going good, you know what I mean? What are you going to take away from it? 10 minutes later, you give yourself a pat on the back. You're like, I really showed her, or I showed him, or I said that. It doesn't change. It doesn't change the outcome. And it's like being able to identify those things that happen in life where it's like, look, this fucking sucks, but I have two choices. I go down in a bad hole, or I just keep digging to get out. Digging. Does that work? Climbing. Whatever.
Climbing.
Digging.
Whatever.
Digging out of something.
Yeah, digging out, climbing up, whatever whatever analogy you want to use. Either way, it's the same ending.
Yeah.
Right? Because inevitably you will find that. You will find that person that you meet, or the situation, or the idea that you run with, or whatever, So it was a really cool story, man. You know what I mean? Like, super motivating. I'm like, yes, absolutely. Well, it's like, shed your exterior, be cool to everybody, and just do what you want to do and push.
I'm like, God, I wish so many people would take on what you're saying, man. And what's really, I think, is just beautiful about what you've been talking about. I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And we're all in this piece of dirt floating through space trying to figure out what the heck life is. But I look back on my life and the disappointments that I've had, and the things like, oh, I wish this would have happened, or let down, didn't get a job, or this person screwed me over, that person did this. But I wouldn't be where I'm at today if that stuff didn't happen.
Yeah.
You look back and you see, like, wow, all that stuff that happened, one, it hurt, but it helped me grow. And growth is painful. It can really suck at times. But it also set me up for the successes that I have now, and the lessons that I learned. Who to trust, when to make certain business moves, and the opportunities that I have with skydiving, surfing, whatever the business opportunities I have that are going on now, even with Jordan. There's certain things I know that happened in my life 5 years ago that if it didn't, I wouldn't be doing any of this right now. So I really love that when you talk to those people, it's like, I'm hugging you. It sucked what you did, but you set me up for success without even knowing it. You know, it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, because if it's, and also there's gonna be more of those, you know. There's gonna be more. It's very hard with the experiences that I've had in life to trust people in business.
Oh yeah.
Business is business, you know, and it is very hard, you know, like my pops always says, if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. And that's only for manifestation, like every day. Like I got discipline written on my hand right now, you know, and I wrote my investment number on my hand every single day. I obsess, you know, poor Emma at the house, but I got whiteboards everywhere with my goals and I obsess over it. It's because your brain doesn't know the difference from imagination to reality. So if I can imagine where I'm going on a consistent basis and I'm already there, I'm driving my car I got, you know, like I saw this one guy, and this is going to happen. Hopefully you come on the podcast and I'm having this experience. But at the back of my house, there's a street called Golden Lantern down in Dana Point area. And there's this good looking dude with his Ray-Bans on, you know, hair slicked back, and he was driving one of these badass Cobras, you know, the little like little silver, little bit, and he had deep sound in it. His thing was badass. He just looked happy, man.
Just cruising.
Yeah, just cruising. I was like, oh, I want that, you know, and just why not? But the thing is, I have to write all that down. You know, the thing is, like, I have to consistently write, and I have to visualize it. I have to see it. Like, then I can understand. My brain can be like, okay, yeah, we're already there. Like, we're already there. Now it's just a matter of time before reality catches up, you know? And so, and then also the fact when you, like, you know, you get upset over little problems, well, I don't think you have big enough problems. You need, you know, like if you're upset over these little things, like, you know, maybe your problems aren't big enough. Go after bigger things. Eventually, when you got big problems, you ain't worried about all that stuff.
You can't sweat that small stuff.
No, because you're going this way. Like, hey, and then how you handle those situations, as you know, like, you're going to have more of those. You're going to have more. And so how did you handle yourself during that experience? Because it's going to come around again. Maybe not in the same form, but you're gonna have hard things. If you're going after big dreams and big goals, you're gonna have to. You're gonna have a.
You gotta fight.
You're gonna. It's. You know. I mean, you're gonna have to get through scenarios, and you gotta get through them cool.
Right.
You gotta get through calculated. You gotta be strategic. You gotta write everything down. You have to see it. You know. You have to be so calculated, and if they just stay in here, I had this great idea. Oh shit, damn it! What was I was in the shower, and then I was gonna do this, but you know, when you're out running or whatever, you got these great ideas, and I'll pause. You know, you do, right? You know,
absolutely.
They're freaking singing, you know, but you know, putting notes on my phone. I'm like, oh, that was a great idea. I gotta write that down later. You know, ultimately, you're just gonna have big problems down the road, and how do you handle
hard
them?
times are, you know. I don't wish it on anybody. I wish everyone could have a smooth, easy life, but that's not reality.
No.
Reality is tough times will come.
I mean, it'd also be kind of boring.
It would be.
Right? Yeah. If everything's went cool, you're like, now there's some chaos, dude. I need a little something.
Yeah.
But
I mean, look, big jumps lead to big falls sometimes.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's understanding, it's gaining aspect. What'd you learn from it? Right? If you make, well, what is the definition of insanity, right? Or is it
doing the same thing, expecting different results or something?
Correct. Yeah. Right. And, you know, not that's sometimes that's a part of the process too.
Yep.
I mean, let's be real. You know, I think no, it's gonna work this time, and then it doesn't, and it doesn't, and it doesn't, and it doesn't, and you're like, okay, I might be like the 5th time's a charm guy, because I am in my life, or a lot of aspects. You know, that's kind of how things have worked out. But eventually, at some point, you learn from it, right? And then you become calculated, and then you remember that, and you jot it, and you commit it to memory, and you look, okay, this isn't going to work, or I know how I act in this scenario, which is a big one, right? And understanding yourself, you know. So it's just, it's crazy. Like if you really took back, look at everything we just said in the last 20 minutes. It's a lot of shit, right? And sometimes I feel like even though that could even be overwhelming, because if someone's listening, they're like, fuck, dude, they don't get it. No, we might not. We might not get your specific scenario, but you have to understand that there's multiple facets on trying to get out of it, or get through it, or push forward, or learn from it and get back up, whatever it is, you know, because it's like there's a lot of stories that are like this, a lot of journeys like your journey, not the same, but the premise, you know, and you keep mushing forward, and you find that groove, and that groove is going to fuck up sometimes too. you know, but it's like, you know, at a certain point that goes, hey, that's just a setback. You know, you might be pissed for a little bit,
Yeah.
but you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you kind of like, I don't know, like I feel like I've always been like kind of a skeptic. I say kind of. I'm sure my wife's gonna hear this and go, eternal skeptic. No, but you know what? But that positive like outlook for the big picture is what keeps driving. And I love that you say you write everything down. You know, because if you can visualize it, you can do it.
Mm.
You know, I used to write everything down. Like I always had Post-it notes all over my fridge. So every time I walk by, I'd be like, oh shit, I did that today. Or like, oh yeah, okay, I want to do that. You know, but I think that that's, you know, maybe I'm not saying for everybody, but that is a something to do, you know, because I'm definitely a visual person as well, where it's like, if you can see it, eventually that, you know, hope, or, you know, what do you call it? Like what's the word that you used? Like the brain can't tell the difference between reality and imagination, right?
Mm-hmm.
That eventually that feeling, that push, whatever you're envisioning yourself doing, may be the driving factor that actually gets you to do it.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's a really cool aspect, and I actually need to start writing more stuff down. Fridge again, I think.
it works. I mean, you know, it's just like you get more comfortable, and the more you sit, you know, if you can take like 30 minutes, man, to sit, visualize, you know, and then, you know, there's a guy named Brian Tracy. You know, he has amazing books. You know, there's and he does, you know, there's all the information's out there. You know, you don't have to bump your head. You can be more calculated. You don't. It's just there. You know, it's just like follow these. You don't have to do anything crazy or anything different. Just follow these guys and what they're doing. And when you're doing good, you know, like the world reflects how you feel inside. You know, and I know because I'm pretty solid right now. You know, I'm pretty well balanced. I know when I'm not, and I'm pretty well balanced right now. And when I'm called to do something like this, or when the people that come near me, that gravitate towards me, when I'm doing good, I know they're good, you know, or else I wouldn't go there, you know. And so I know when certain people come into my life, I'm like, oh, you're a good one, because I know I'm pretty solid right now, and we can obviously sense it and pick it up, but.
No, that's awesome, man. You brought up something really good too, and I've said this a few times on here, but how many good ideas are in the grave of people who didn't write it down or didn't take the chance or the risk to do the things that they wanted to do in this life?
Mm-hmm.
You've hit on so many great things, especially the fact that, you know, our lives, whether people realize it or not, you have a beginning date, which is your birthday, and you have an end date, whatever that is. What you do with that dash in between is on you. And you can make it great, or you can make it not great.
Yeah.
It could be bland, whatever you want to be. But it's like, I always want to tell people, because like Jordan, some people, like, they look at us, right? We skydive, do all these things, paragliding. We're like, they say it's extreme, right? But I'm so much about experiences and people.
Yeah.
And getting out there and talking with everyone just to enjoy life. I find so much self-worth in just talking to people and hearing where they're at and engaging with them and becoming friends with them and seeing like, well, cool, now we're friends. What can I do to help you get to your dreams and your goals and things that you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, why do you really want to help me? I'm like, yeah, what do you want to do with your life? Like, what the heck? I teach at a fire academy. And I say this all the time with the new recruits that come in. I tell them, whether you make it through here or not, you know, my goal is to instill in you the principles that are going to make you not just a great firefighter, but a good human being. And that is to always work hard in everything that you're doing. No matter how many times you fail, no matter how rough it gets, you got to learn to suffer, because nothing is going to be handed to you in this life. Absolutely zero. You have to go out, you have to work, and you have to fight for everything that you want. And if you fail, it's not a failure. It's just a reset. You learn. You pick yourself up, and you try it again a different way, and you keep pushing. And you can't do it alone. We have to instill, I always say this, we instill teamwork into you for a reason, because the fires aren't going to go out with just one person on a fire truck. You need a team. You need a group. You need a leader. You need people who know their job inside and out. They're going to work together, put that fire out, and give our citizens a second chance. And I tell them, even if you don't make it through here, take the things that we teach you in here into your life. And I tell them, I guarantee you'll be successful. It may not happen tonight. It may not happen the second you do it. It might happen 10 years from now. But the fact that you just keep pushing and you learn to suffer and you go forward and forward and forward, it's bound to work out for you.
Mm-hmm.
It will. I tell them, like, in my short life, 35 years, it has worked.
Mm-hmm.
I get to, it's like, I've had many nights where I've been in my bed crying, sad, frustrated, upset, trying to figure out, like, what am I doing? Like, this didn't work. This sucks. I'm embarrassed. And the next morning you wake up like, all right, well, I'm going to retry this and do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, those are people who change lives. And that just change. People are so big on, like, let's change the world. I'm like, how about instead of changing the world, why don't you change someone's world that's in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one of those things, like, you'll impact that person's life. And you don't know whose life they're going to impact. And then the lives of those people, it's just going to keep going and going and going. All from you just being a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like having the time to step back or in front of somebody and just be like, hey, what's up? How's it going? Like, becoming friends, figuring out what they want to do with their lives. You know, it's reciprocated back and forth, you know? And I just think about them like, God, I want to tell people, like, take the calculated risk. Do your homework. Do the things that, you know, if you want to start a business or whatever it's going to be, but prep yourself and be ready, because you can do anything that you want to do. It's just, how bad do you want it? What are you willing to put yourself through and sacrifice to get to where you want to go? It's not impossible. Anyone that's been successful in this world that we're in right now started where we are all at. They started at the bottom, and they were like, well, I want to start this business. Let's give it a shot. And they're successful. You know, so it's like, if they can do it, I always think, God, if they can do it, I can do it. There's got to be a way. Like, if they're making it, there's got to be a way that I can do this. You know, so, God, you hit on such solid, great things, and I love that you're talking about being kind and open with people, because I just don't think there's enough of that, man. It's like, why are people putting on this facade? I used to be a dick. Straight up, dude. In my early 20s, I was like, dude, I didn't care about anybody. I did my own thing. But to me, it takes so much more energy to be negative and be an a-hole than it is to just be kind, man.
Yeah.
Meet people where they're at.
Like, well, Elon Tesla, he's like, if you
Let's go.
There's a lot of. Well, I wanted to bring it like 40 seconds ago. You had a lot of really good points. I didn't want to slow you down. Sorry.
No, you're good, bro.
Yeah, like Elon, I'm sorry, Elon Tesla. Tesla, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of what energy, frequency, and vibration, you know, and so it's that weird thing too, is like, you know, when you're thinking of someone, all of a sudden the phone calls. You know, like, oh my God, I was just thinking about you, or a song, or I think it goes beyond that, you know. And there's such amazing ways. Like, I think the most amazing thing that we were talking about right now is, you know, your time is short. God, you know, it's short, and
here and gone.
It's, you know, and so the other thing is, like, you know, jumping out of airplanes, right, and doing those types of things, like, you know, I'm sure you have friends that do base jumping and they do all those extreme things, like. You know, there's this shift that's going on with me right now, you know, and I grew up hitting really big jumps on dirt bikes, right? I've done really extreme things, and if they went wrong, I wouldn't be here. And then I'm having this thing right now. God, this guy said this. I was listening to some podcast, and he's like, dead people don't change the world. And I'm like, God damn it, because I'm have such an amazing opportunity to change. I mean, thousands of lives. You know, like, I love how you said the ripple effect. Yeah. Because if I'm kind to you, if I hold that door open, or I sit down and just talk to you, hey, what's up, man? Like, you know, and also having these conversations. It's nice to have friends that have dreams. Yeah. Hey, bam, firing off different ideas. And, you know, and like, absolutely. You know, learning the marketing tactics and SEO and yada yada or whatever, all the little intricacies that go into building a business, you know, and all that, your performas and yada yada. It's good to talk with like-minded individuals, because that elevates you. You know, if you're next to, you know, I'm fortunate to, you know, being calculated this time around. Yeah. I surround myself with people that are smarter than me. Oh, boy. You know, and that's another thing that Carl said.
I was like, fuck, let's get a table.
He's like, I don't have one. But it's just a matter of time, you know? It's just a matter of time when you surround yourself with people, you know, that you want to be like. It's just, eventually, it's just going to catch up.
Man, you hit the nail on the head. My friend circle, at least people I consider close, is very small. Very, very small. And I've learned to be very careful who I tell my dreams to and the things I want to do. Because a lot of people... you'll get a lot of people that put you down. And a lot of times I've come to figure out it's because they're too afraid to step out and do the things they want to do, and they see you living your life and doing your thing. It's like, fuck, man. And I really am a big proponent on the things that I want to do in the business that I'm involved in now. I surround myself with people who are doing them, but that are great at them. You know, it's like, why am I going to take advice about skydiving from someone who's never skydived? Oh, that's too dangerous. Okay, have you been through the AFF course and seen what they train you in and all the safety protocols you got to go through just to jump and all that? You know, all the. It's not as bad as you think. Is it? Yes, it's pretty damn dangerous, but it's a calculated risk, right? You get to training. I always tell people, remember, you're training, you're going to live. You know, so I always surround myself with people who are at where I want to be eventually, and I'm not afraid to network. I will DM somebody real quick, mess all this stuff to figure out, hey, like, just real quick, like, what'd you do to get to where you want to go? Like, here's what I want to do. And you'd be surprised at people that respond back.
Yeah, most of the time when someone, like, when you know, whatever, you know, you say, like, whatever success is, you know, whatever you call that, you want to give it back.
Yeah.
You know, like, if I have someone that's starting a business, like, you know, this is like my third time around. This is like my fourth business, right? And so I love it. You know, I love the grind. I love making things happen. And so I know someone else is trying to start it, you know, and I'm like, oh yeah, I would love to help you. Maybe try this or try that. And I have other friends that are trying to do things too. And it's, I would love to give back advice. And I'm like, hey, this is not only mine. This is coming from a guy that has done this. Right. You know, this is coming from this person. This is not, maybe you're fortunate enough to hear it from a guy like that. Or maybe you already know it, but you need to hear it again. You know, because we know a little of a lot, right? Right. But sometimes you need to hear it again. You're like, oh my God, I know that, but I just needed to hear it from Tim right now. You know? And so I think, you know, again, it's having the conversations of dreaming and being around people that are, you know, living life and going after that stuff is amazing. But the other thing, like I was talking about, like, I'm having in the weird stage of, yeah, like, I'm not going out and hitting 150-foot jumps on a dirt bike anymore. You know, I don't want to go and base jump right now. You know, I'm a little nervous to skydiving. Yeah. I have, you know, if I go, oh man, I don't get to go and help all the people that I want to do. And it's not only that, I have so many things I want to do. And
so whoever told you that you can't do it from the grave messed with you a little bit.
Yeah, it did. Well, I gotta be a little, you know, it did.
When you said that, dude, it made me think of like something my mom would tell me.
It is.
Like, it's like a little bit. It's like, not that it's judgy, but it's a little guilt, a little bit. Yeah. You know, but it makes sense. Like, you get, you know.
I didn't have, when I was doing a lot of those things too, like, I didn't have the opportunity that I have right now. You know, I didn't have. You know, I have such a mega force of energy right in front of me. There's such, like, I can see it out there. If I can see it in the distance, and I've all the, like, and it's there. It's out there. Something big is out there. And I just have to be so safe, I feel right now. Or it's just, I'm just in that stage where I'm, like, nervous to, you know, I'm not, I don't know, man. It's super strange because I would be the guy, like, I'm safe and on the sports that I do. Right. Kind of have that
calculated.
Yeah. And but there's this thing going on right now where I'm like, why am I so nervous? Why is this popping up right now?
Yeah, but that's okay, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to feel that way.
It's unusual.
It is unusual, right? It's different. And I always tell you, you're on that journey right now. Yeah. And that's it's up to you to figure it out, but it's totally cool.
Yeah, it's another learning. It's another thing. Like, I love triathlons right now. Like,
oh, I follow you, bro.
They're
I
great,
love it, dude. Yeah,
you know, and it's another community. Like skydiving, it's a lot of elevated people. They're going there for some. They started it for some reason, some big reason, you know. And no one just goes and jumps out of an airplane. No one just goes and does all these miles and stuff. But it's the community that comes with that. Right. It's
well, that community is interesting too, right? You got to think, even with skydiving, but doing triathlons and, you know, the ultra marathons, it's a smaller community.
It is.
The average person isn't putting in the time to do that, right? You're talking, you got to log miles. I was doing, I think, 100 miles a week of running. Right? That's as dedication as time, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me get that.
Right. I ring the bell because I don't understand.
That's insane.
I ran 3 miles a day, and I wasn't running from something, but I was running home as fast as I could because I hated the decision that I made. About halfway. I'm just kidding. I felt great once I was done. But to me, that was a lot, which I know it's like...
3 miles. Oh, no, it's still... Dude,
peasant, 3 miles, 43. Yeah, so...
That's cute.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm trying. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I was just joking around because it's like, look, you got to do what it is that you love.
Yeah.
And whatever that outlet is. And like, like you're saying, like whether it's running or jumping out of a plane or whatever, maybe that feeling of being like, yeah, it's like kind of crazy because it's a different aspect now.
Yeah.
Right? What is the potential? Because if what drives you makes you feel good, not just about yourself, but just about life, right? Because part of it is the giving back part. It's giving back to whatever, what the business that you have with the people involved in it, right? Sometimes there's these shifts of what takes precedence. And then that and I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. It just means you're growing in that direction that you sought out. So sometimes maybe it's like, yeah, well, you can't jump. Like, I don't know how many times you did it in a week or a month or whatever. But, because now it's like, well, I got to do this. I got to do this. It's these ebbs and flows of life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, just because you're not doing it a lot now doesn't mean you won't later,
Yeah.
Or maybe you might think about it a lot more later because maybe your business gets great or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you're having, instead of hundreds of people, you have hundreds of thousands of people that you're working with, whatever the scenario is. But it's just, I don't know. I just, when you said that, I was like, that's a really interesting perspective because it's true.
It resonated with me for some reason, it's, and like, I get nervous up, when I do those things. And I've almost, I got a very addictive personality, right? Mm-hmm. If I, get hooked on a certain type of food, like my fiance she laughs at me because I have such an addictive behavior. And if I like start liking oatmeal, I'm gonna eat it every single day for a week. If I go on like a like steak, I'm eating it every day and I'm obsessing over it, and everything that I've done, it's not that I just get hooked on it and then I'm over it, get into a sport. Like, no, like that nowadays, it's something that it stays with me. There was people like when I first started running, like running a mile was hard, and, I've done really, really long runs, I've done really long endurance type of things. And it started out, if I got a mile 4 years ago, I lived down the peninsula, down in Newport. If I ran from down to the wedge and back, which was like 1.2 miles, and without stopping, I was like, oh my God, I was so proud of myself. And I got hooked on what that did, what that felt like. And it sucked. Like running sucked.
It's just suffering.
Oh, yeah.
It's suffering the whole fucking time, dude. I know. Trust me. I'm like, there's people like,
but then you start enjoying it. Then you start smiling when you're running. Then you start,
I hit this. For me, running and doing these things was actually a way of therapy for myself from work and different things I've dealt with in life. Because that's like when I get home from work in the morning, whatever, doing a 24-hour shift, that's like, running those days, that's 2 to 4 hours. I can zone out. I don't listen to music or anything. I just go.
No music.
What? Yeah, I just march away. But there's so much thinking I get done that I know is healthy for myself.
Yeah.
And getting that frustration out in certain things. And that's why you're saying, like, the people that do these type of, like, the running that even if you're doing 3 miles, doing the cardio and triathlons and all that stuff, you're dealing with people that are definitely in search of something and have that A-type personality, but they're learning, they're dedicating themselves during the week to run, swim, and cycle. That's a lot of work. All to finish a race where they give you a medal and a banana. Right? I remember when I finished that 62-mile run, I was like, I conquered the world. I ended up getting 3rd place.
Wow.
Right? I had no idea. I had no freaking clue. We finished that night. It was dark. My headlamp wasn't even working, dude. I was just like, I hate my life.
That's awesome.
But, you finish these races, you put all these miles in, but it kind of unlocks something in you. You start realizing, like, if I can do a half marathon, I can do a full. If I can do a full, I can do a 30. Anything over a marathon is considered ultra marathon.
That's right.
I remember a friend told me, it's like, oh yeah, these guys running 30, 50 miles. You could never do that. I remember looking like, I'm going to prove you wrong, motherfucker. Yeah, I was like,
how dare he?
I'm going to show you what I could do. But there's so much that I've learned about myself in doing these things, because something that's always stuck with me that my father told me, I remember in high school and then going into college and all this, I said something to him like, oh yeah, the minimum for this, I think PT test was like 50 push-ups. And he was a Green Beret, Special Forces, really squared away, like tough dude. I still remember this to this day. He was just sitting down, drinking coffee. He goes, minimums? Or what did he say? I'm trying to say this right here. He said the minimums. God, I can't remember how I fucking said this. I just had it, dude. And I lost it.
It's coming back.
Yeah, but it was something on the lines like your minimum should be your base. Like you should crush that. Don't ever let some people tell you what the minimum is.
Yeah.
It's like you will never know like your true potential until you actually go past limits. I think that's what I remember he said. He said like limits, that's cool. Those are my minimums. Crush them.
So you knew to come back.
Yeah, I knew it came back. He's like, yeah, limits. He's like, that's fine. Those are my minimums. Crush them. I remember looking at him. He's like, don't ever let anyone tell you what a limit is. And he went on to tell me like all this stuff. He was just talking, being philosophical, but he was like, limits. People who go to limits, those are the people that, those are your average people. The people who make it, can change and do things and show people like how far you can go in your life are the ones that go past the limits.
Yeah.
So he's like, always go past the limits. Push yourself. When you think you're going to quit, he's like, you got at least 30, 40% more. I remember thinking, I'm like, damn, bro, you fucking crazy, son. Like, no wonder you're a green gray. I'm like, damn, boy.
When's your dad gonna write a book?
He should, dude.
I feel like your dad's like the OG Jocko Willink.
Oh,
is he?
Yeah.
he's
Green Beret. That's not.
Yeah, he's got some stories. 22 years, dude.
Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody. I'm not super familiar with the status of either what is, higher about. I just mean like it seems like a plethora of like motivational quotes and experiences to live your life by. You know what I mean?
Well, he was always so quiet.
Is he disciplined?
Very disciplined.
See, that's the discipline.
He's 80 years old. He still wakes up. He does 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, and he does like I think 80 to 100 air squats and go surfs.
Does he?
Still buzzes
80?
his head. Bro, he's 80 years old and he does not look 80.
Damn.
Yeah, he's a very disciplined person.
Yeah.
And he's instilled that too, like me and my brothers and sisters. I would say I'm definitely like the black sheep out of the family.
How many brothers and sisters?
There's a total of 5.
Okay.
The one that passed away, so there's 4 of us still alive.
Okay.
But yeah, he's one of those guys, dude. He never spoke often, but when he did, you listened. You're just like, oh god, what's that saying this time? It's just interesting, man. All I have to say though, dude, the endurance sports and all that, I love that you're doing it, dude, because you're going to see how far you can push yourself, and once you finish those races, you're like, I got more.
Yeah.
I can do it, and it's like now you're doing like full on Ironmans. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and the people that you meet, you hit on such a key thing there. I've met so many great people at all these races.
Oh yeah.
People who are just, I mean, you say high on life, but you're not getting your typical person, right?
No.
They're definitely, a lot of them are just, they're different mindsets. I always say they're kind of like artistic people, right? They always think outside the box. You can tell they're just way different. The fact that they want to go out there and do a triathlon or run 50 miles and just suffer, because that's what you're doing. You learn to suffer. There's not one part of doing any of these that's comfortable. There's not one part, dude. Something's always rubbing wrong. You get done and you finish. Your IT band's tight. Your knee freaking hurts. But it's like, you're like, I accomplished something today. I did this. And I always just use this as a form to just freaking think and get away from everybody. No one can get a hold of me. There's no earbuds in. Phone's off. Gone. I'll see you in like 4 hours.
Yeah. I go and ride down towards Camp Pendleton. Like from my house in Laguna de Go.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Like a 30-mile ride. And so I'm multitasking on there. I'm sending out emails.
While you're running?
No, on my bike.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
I got this little mount, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, I can get some emails done here. Reply back to this one. I'm like, all right, dude, just freaking go. Just come on. Oh my gosh,
dude. So if somebody wants to be a part of the program that you have, as far as getting into, what's the sober living that you have?
No, so it's not a sober.
It's not sober living. What is it?
So these are primary mental health facilities.
Okay,
so,
that's right. Sorry, I didn't mean to misguide.
No. They're just exactly what they are. So people, and they open up in January.
Okay.
I'm kind of taking my time right now because we got have to hire on a lot of people and get rock stars to come in there.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because no one has normal colored hair. They all have gray hair. I'm like, and it's just like everyone is just rock stars in all different areas, and so I'm sitting there like the only one that doesn't have gray hair, which will probably come soon.
And that's going to be the name SoCal Mental Health.
SoCal Mental Health. So what that is, it's a primary mental health facility. So we have one stage is called a short-term crisis stabilization. So instead of going to a psychiatric hospital where you need more of an acute setting, you come to a residential setting. We have a doctor and therapist,
nice,
and so we incorporate nutrition, and we have chefs, and we teach you about your microbiome, and your depression can be coming from your gut, etc. And we teach you a lot about that and get you stable on medications. And then our second house, which we'll have that you go after, is called a transitional residential. So that's where I can start doing the camping trips and the off-roading and all of and teach them what the groups that we do on the treatment modalities. I can take them out in the nature and do a group on it, and I can take them out and show them. Dude. You know, and so. You know, that was so that will open up in January.
Awesome.
And so Epic Journey, that was like a fun event thing, and it's amazing. And we do the fundraisers, and sometimes we put events on. Well, what that evolved to is that, you know, it'll stay doing that. I think it's a fun thing, but that'll be the alumni program. So when they graduate with me, then they get to go do this full-blown experience.
Oh man, let's go.
Yeah, so that's how it turned out. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. So January is when it's supposed to open up?
Yeah, January 1, we'll have our first house, and then they're just going to go, every house is getting remodeled. So we're all like making them beautiful. But yeah, boom, boom, boom. And they'll start going back to back and start opening.
Do you have an Instagram handle for that?
Yeah, it's SoCal Mental Health, at SoCal Mental Health.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. And then Epic Journey has an Instagram, right?
Yeah, it's Epic Journey Inc.
Inc?
Yeah.
Epic
No, is it?
Is it?
I don't know. Oh, no. That's the website. You can see how much. Yeah. It's Epic Ejourney OC.
Is that like an Instagram handle? Or just okay? So.
Instagram handle is Epic Ejourney OC.
We'll double check it.
Yeah.
Back.
We just want to plug this so people know how to search that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Is it Epic Journey OC?
So it's Epic Journey OC, no spaces, and it's gonna look like this. Bing. Can you see it on there?
Yeah.
Look at Sam. Pull back, baby.
Okay. Anyways, it's real. And dude, that's so rad. So it's a 3-step. It's basically like a 3-step program, but like transitional from houses. So you have acute, like a subacute, and then like or a transitional then would be the final step.
Yeah, because instead of and the thing about mental health right now, people are more open about talking about it. You know,
it's not as taboo as it used to be. Yeah,
and so it's a newer wave coming along, and so these are a little bit newer in the last couple of years. Of substance abuse, primary, those have been around for a while, right? But mental health is a new thing. These are a new thing, a new type of treatment right now, and so people are being more open about it. And so instead of going to a hospital setting, where the energy's not there's no magic in there, now what there is that's coming right now, as you'll see this, you're seeing it more publicized, is that, but they're in residential settings. Yeah. So, we're always like the nicest house around, and they're beautiful, beautiful homes and amazing therapy within them. And there's, like, again, when I talked about the energy that you can create, within them, there's a culture, there's an energy when you come in, like, remember Doubletree Inn? They used to give you a warm cookie, you can go there.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Memorable.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
delicious. Yeah.
Yeah. Right? So
smart marketing.
Great. I still remember this day. It's been like 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
But, when they come into a place like that, if you can create, like, hey, man, like, I know you're going through a lot of stuff. Like, welcome. To be all right, because they go to where they don't have that energy. They don't have the correct people running them, and like they're still doing great things. But if you can come in like, hey, love on them, and here's your warm cookie type of deal. But it may be in front of a blanket, a gift, or but hey, like it's gonna be all right, because the situations that people are coming from when they step into those are, there's people with schizophrenia or extreme depression, extreme anxiety, extreme bipolar. So we can get them stabilized with our doctors on the correct medication. Yeah. There's a way that they can get rid of their schizophrenia. There's a way to get from their suicide ideations, and so there's a whole curriculum that we're building out, which is where I'm fascinated by. I love neuroscience, and so, me not being very educated with it, I know what I know, I read a lot, this and that, but I haven't gone to school for it. So I have amazing doctors and therapists that say, hey, look, this is the type of thing I want to build, and they can go and professionalize it and make it an actual beautiful thing to where, like, here, this is the roadmap that you're going to go through this 30, 60, 90-day experience, and then off into life.
Yeah, but I think the part that you offer, or people in the same scenario that you during this rehabilitation program, is that not everyone wants to hear the scientific fact of what it is. And if a doctor's telling you what you need to do, I think people are resistant to that just naturally, on top of already being some sort of mentally compromised per the scenario that they're dealing with or underlying issue, right? I think that having someone that they can relate to is probably a bigger driving force with all of it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really, because you mentioned the gut biome. I was thinking like Dr. Rhonda Patrick, like, and all that kind of stuff, like Joe Rogan series, things, that how much more that plays into like your thought process, the way your body just handles things in general. Like there's so deep of like different things that you can do or offer to people to help change them, because they say when he's like medicated, I don't like to use that word but part of it is that, right? To get your body back on course to whatever that is. And I think that it's cool to hear that there's like, you kind of have a lot of different aspects of the healing process or getting yourself back into that route, because it's like, back in the day when you think of like, oh, it's a rehab place or a halfway house or something, right? It's like there's going to be a bunch of people just hopped up on lithium, just kind of zoning out, walking around, and I think it's fair to say that that's not doing anything productive for those people individually, right? So you're breaking down these different aspects, dude, and like to me, that is the future.
Yeah.
Right. And like, with our jobs, we've had opportunities of going in a lot of these places.
Yeah.
And when you said that the houses are nice, one of them popped up that I went to in the last couple of years, and this house was bitching. It was really nice, but it was like everyone inside, because like, dude, things happen. You know what I mean? Whether it's either relapse issues or something. In this case, this was a sober living spot. And, but when you're talking about the vibe of the people inside there, that was the first time I had been inside one of those, and everyone was in it together. There was like that feeling of it there. You had genuinely concerned other people. That wasn't just like, oh, they're whatever, talking shit or something else, dude. It was like everyone genuinely was like bummed. This person individually had an issue, it seemed more like a relapse issue, but just see the group, the concern, and not saying that everything's for that. I'm just using it as an example of being able to make places to create that environment, because I think that's like the healing process, and I think you nail it on the head. And being able to provide that for people out there, you're gonna have probably a ton of success. That's I don't know.
Well, it's
big work, man.
Well, thanks. And it's the other thing is like you surf.
Yeah.
Do you surf?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, how healing that is. I was talking to my soon-to-be mother-in-law. She's tuned in, right? But there's a very pure energy that comes off the ocean. There's something magical around that. We're attracted to that. And, I go out, and I'm out running the beach today, and we have hundreds of thousands of people inland. There's only 10 people on the beach.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful. And there's something pure coming off that water, So... nature's very healing. If you can learn to breathe and you can be out there and say, hey, when I'm stressed out, hey, like go out in the nature, go sit on a lifeguard tower, breathe and like relax, go look at the moon, look up, stop doing this, look up, get out there. And so, people just don't know that. And you need someone to guide you to go out there and do that. Like you don't, it's very, I think that you need to learn it inside. And then by someone that you respect, like you said, it's not always by doctors and therapists. Like I would relate to someone, like us, that if that told me, rather than, hey, listen here,
Right.
And so, if it comes like from the correct culture, and you learn it in a facility, and you get to go out there and experience it, you get to like, oh wow, when I'm stressed, like I can just go out and, one day drive up Highway 395 and go out and camp in these amazing areas, I can look forward to. I just there's such an amazing way to think and to live and to get out of all that, because things are fast. We move, we're in Orange County specifically, we're movers and shakers. There's a lot of hustle, there's a lot of fast quickness. But when we kind of leave that and we go, I love Highway 395.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. Amazing.
There's no one around. You can see, your eyes can see. You can see long. It's still, it's quiet, and so that's healing.
Absolutely. Dude, the ocean for me, good or bad days, I've always been drawn to it. I grew up with it.
Yeah.
I grew up surfing since I was 8. My dad's done it since he was 20 something years old. He's 80 years old now. And there's something about it that like you said, there's healing out in nature, which I love that you're taking people out. When you say they go from one house to the next and you're able to take them out, it's huge.
Yeah.
Get them outside to show there's fun to be had. There's things that you can do, going on hikes, mountain biking, cycling, taking them skydiving, all these different things. Like there's so much more life to be had than what you're going through. You just got to kind of unlock that, flip that switch.
You need someone. You need to show them. They need to be. They don't know how to do it. They didn't grow up with a dad that was surfing. They grew up in chaotic homes, abusive homes, or they grew up in chaotic situations where everyone was, manic or bipolar, just chaotic. Or, a lot of my friends where I grew up, like, I'm the only one that's not in prison. I have all my friends are getting out now from 15 years ago, but I was very intuitive. Like, hey, I'm going to go and do this. No, I'm not. Oh, you're lame. Well, I don't want to go, man. Like, and they're all just getting out. Yeah. I'm the only one, but they weren't taught that. They weren't taught to go out and experience life, that was a possibility. And so, I love working with the guys that are coming out of jail or county funded or from the streets, because they've never been able to experience this,
It's like a whole new life for them.
Yeah, and you get to be the one that shows. And in this life, in their experience, you can be the person that has them go left when they were going to go right, and if I didn't show them this experience, and I minimized my 2-day thing with Epic Journey, like the 2-day, but if hey, like, this is possible, they can go left instead of right. When the impact that you guys have in the community too, like, there's good out there. There's people there's really amazing people, and we can point someone in the direction. Hey, come this way, man. Like, you don't want to go that way. And so you incorporate an experience with that, then, you altered someone's life.
Dude, you're so true, man. George's going to pull out a couple questions here, but dude, real quick, dude, I just want to tell you, you are absolutely the reason why we do this podcast, is because of people like you.
Oh,
I wish there were more Prestons out there, man.
There is.
I hope I hope you understand that what you're doing, dude. You're moving and you're changing lives, and you can't put a price tag on that. You really can't, dude. You're helping people see that there's more to life than what's going on, the problems that you're in, And again, you can't put a price tag on it, man. I'm proud of you, dude.
Thank you.
I know we've been friends for not that long, but I'm encouraged by what you're doing. It makes me want to do more, and thank you, dude. Honestly, for what you're doing for people, dude, it's a big deal. It really is.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm listening, and you're absolutely right, Tim. I was trying to pre-screen a couple of these because I thought I threw a few last time.
What are these?
So I'm going to open up with one that I remember that I just think is a fun question. So if you had to live on any TV show, what TV show would it be? These are like silly questions, and I'm going to try to get through because I pulled.
We always end our podcast with a couple questions because it goes like from like fun stuff to deep to fun again. It's like we're at that point. Let's hit some questions just to see what people think.
What
TV show? If you could live inside of it, right?
live inside of it. Okay, so I don't know. 2.5 Men.
That'd actually be
Charlie.
that'd be wild, dude.
Yeah.
Beautiful women everywhere.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool, cool caveat. I'm going to change my answer. I think last time I said the show.
I'm changing
The
mine
Office,
too. I got another one.
Because I just think it's super funny, but it'd be incredibly boring living in an office in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Not that it's bad, just
Was it The Office?
No, yeah. So what I would change it to, because I thought about this afterwards, I'm like, you know what? I would live at Gilligan's Island, not specifically with all the characters, but just like everything they had was like made out of like bamboo and coconuts. I just thought it seemed like kind of cool and like secluded, but they had everything they needed.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm like, that would be like super fun, I think. I don't know. And I was like, I like watched the show a lot when I was little. So anyway.
I
I think it's a pretty good one.
Dude, I had Family Matters. Remember Family Matters?
Yeah.
The Wonder Years, the original show.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Remember the Wonder Years?
Yeah, that's right. Winnie Cooper.
Winnie Cooper, dude.
Yeah.
Sam, you remember that, right?
Kevin.
Yup, that was way back.
Oh, that's way, way back, dude. Wonder Years. What about you, Sam?
Rick and Morty.
Oh. That's it.
Just went there, dude. We're going cartoons. I did it. It's any TV show.
Any TV
Rick
show.
and Morty would be crazy as shit, dude.
Right, I love that futuristic
That would be
shit, bro.
wild. That would
I
absolutely
would steal that remote that transports through time and stuff, and
Right.
just make the
Right, just casually flying through space.
Jetsons
anytime.
now.
No big deal.
Yeah,
Whatever.
right.
Jetsons. There
Yeah.
you go.
Right.
All right.
One more,
let's
baby.
see.
One more.
All
What you
right.
got?
Yeah, these are just not appropriate in the slightest.
I like that's kind of fun though. They're bad.
I was like, the way this one's been going, dude. Let's not go there.
I could just really throw a twist in.
Yeah, I'd be like, anyway, what do you think of this? Yeah, they'd be like, see you, everybody. Yeah.
Big random one. What you got, baby?
Okay. All right. So this one says okay. It says it's 500 years from. Okay.
This is a complicated one.
Yeah, it's 500 years from now, and you're the person in charge of naming this era. What would you call it?
Epic journey.
Ooh, I like it.
Bang.
Done. Done.
Man, I could.
Yeah, I don't. There's no. That is absolutely. I'm gonna go with him. Epic Journey, dude. I have nothing.
I will also call it Epic Journey. It's Epic Journey era.
Certainly is,
I
fellas.
like that. We
Certainly
got to
is.
do another one, dude. Hold on. Let's do one more.
Let's get a dirty one, dude. Come on.
A dirty one?
No.
Okay.
There's plenty in there. There's plenty in there, dude. Damn.
Okay, here. There we go. Sorry,
I'm
man.
nervous now.
I know.
I'm like, what is this?
All right, say if you were dating a 10, but at night she turned out to be a hideous creature like Fiona from Shrek, would you still date her? You asked for it.
Wait, say it again. Say it again.
Okay, sorry. Says if you were dating a 10, but at night, we'll use they, turned into a hideous creature like Fiona from Shrek, would you still date them?
Really?
No, what if you woke up in the middle of the night?
Scare the shit out of you.
It scared the shit out of you. I'm sure you've had one of no, never mind.
No, super wholesome.
And that's it, folks.
Back to you.
Back to you, Tim.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Yeah. Honey, I love you. I've never done that.
Yeah, I've made a lot of mistakes in my 20s. I would still go for it, gentlemen. I'm that guy right now. I am that guy.
10 all day?
10 all day, dude.
Every day.
What's up, Fiona?
Young.
Fiona, come on, baby. Let's go.
It's like we'll just go to bed early and get up late.
Yeah.
I don't see
Exactly.
a problem in that.
Let's do our thing before the sun goes
It
down.
doesn't say anything about the 10 not being an awesome person. It's
Yeah.
gonna be the best world world. Just
He'd be great.
Yeah, just be like, just throw a little one of those eye
Little
covers
mask.
over. Yeah. Like,
what about
see you in
you?
the morning. Don't touch me. Well, I'm married, so I'm already with a 10.
Very
but,
good.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, who
I
doesn't
got
turn
you.
a Fiona? But let's play the hypothetical. Yeah, sure.
Oh, see.
And I would
Okay.
follow my my theory that I just explained. I would go to bed early and wake up late. Life's good.
Sam.
I like that. But what time does the sun go down?
Yeah, what's
Wait,
up?
what time are we
Right
thinking?
now it's
Probably 7 o'clock.
7
Yeah,
o'clock.
bro. Yeah, and then it's about to go down earlier. So
Yeah.
I'd move to Alaska where it's
yeah.
light till midnight.
That's
there you go. That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. That's what everything depends on.
That's a good one. I didn't think about that.
I freaking love it. Well, Preston, dude, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and being
Thank you
so
for having me.
open and honest, man. What you're doing is amazing. And I'm so glad that I met you and that you're a friend and you took the time to come here. Dude, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep impacting those lives, dude. I firmly believe that the things that we do for people now, we truly won't know until we're in the next life, what we've done and the impact that's honestly had. So well done, brother. Honestly, well done, man.
Yeah, man.
Good stuff, dude. Seriously.
Definitely.
Come on.
Jack, what's up, brother? Yeah, dude. Yeah. Ding. No, dude. Just everything that you've talked about, the growth, the experience, the ups and downs. It's all learning points. You know what I mean? And the fact that you're in a position now to provide this type of service potentially, like on a larger scale to people in need, dude. You know, my hat's off to you. They're obviously. We wish there'd be more people like that, but you know what? Sometimes it takes that pioneer to be able to implement that. And I'm not saying that I don't know if it's the only one that you're doing. I've never heard of this, so to me,
They're out there.
Yeah, but something with it where you have the complexity of multiple step planning and different aspects of taking people through these processes to do that, dude. It's so cool. And I wish you nothing but success. And, you know, next time you're doing an event or anything, and just please, like, let us know. I'd love to be a part of it, or how to help, and or not, you know, if you don't need to help, I mean, whatever. But
Hey,
you know what I mean? However, to impact
community.
it, because I think that those things in society right now are important. You know, it's like we didn't even talk about like the homeless population, things like that. There's so many people that need help, you know, and you're laying the groundwork for a really cool process and doing it, you know. So hopefully it's onward and upward, and you keep expanding, and, you know, because at the end of the day, right, it's making a difference in people's lives, you know. So anyway, I know we just met, but fuck. That's awesome, dude. You're a rad cat, man. I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome, man. Well, let's get a let's go on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's
Let's go.
Bye, everybody. And that's it. Thank you for listening in, everybody. I'd like to thank our sound engineer who makes this podcast happen and makes us sound very good, Stephen Clark. And to our first sponsor, 89 Barbers. Look good, feel good, be great. Come get your haircut at 2 locations, Long Beach and in Orange, California. Your appointment can be booked at 89barbers.com. That is BARBRERS. 89barbers.com. Again, look good, feel good, be great. Check it out. It's my barber. He is the man. Thanks, everybody. Bye.